Cognitive dissonance is a phenomena that pertains to all of us. It occurs when our perceived values, morals, beliefs, and actions do not match with our actual actions. It happens when something out of the ordinary occurs, and you would always say, "I would always," or "I would never" about a situation, and then you do the opposite. Just like a soldier who believed they would be so brave in the face of battle and talked a big game, but in the face of actual danger, reacted in a completely cowardly fashion. Cognitive dissonance is extremely stressful. It shakes us up about everything we think we know about ourselves. It damages our sense of identity and can destroy our self-confidence if we let it. Identity is of serious importance to us and is one of our more important advanced drives just after acceptance that we have. We will change our identity in place of acceptance many times. Psychologists have discovered in studies that when a situation that is uncommon occurs, we do not actually think, we only react. These reactions depend on pre-programmed reactions to uncommon or stressful situations. Many situations such as heroism are never something we had to program into ourselves because we were never confronted with the need to do so. This is why a soldier's first encounter with danger can be quite traumatic, but a seasoned soldier can shrug off danger like it's another day at the office. The difference is that one had more exercise in processing that kind of stress, fear, and danger. The reason why boot camp is made to be so stressful is to give the brain an introductory experience at coping with stress. All reactions we have to things are determined by prior experience. What psychologists found was that people assume that things were done purposely because they will react, then try to rationalize what and why they did it the way they did, and since memories are constantly being rewritten, they assume that they had a choice in the matter. This rationalization is why people can do and believe things that go completely against their own moral code and not bat an eye. Since we're empathic and social creatures, we will do the same thing for other people as well, as I discussed in my third video in this series. Hypocrisy and guilt are rampant in churches because instead of realizing their actions were actually reactions that can be altered by building new mental constructs, they see them as sinful actions, or they rationalize them away as being perfectly fine and nothing they are doing is wrong, while at the same time they're judging someone else for the exact same action. Jesus always gets the credit for helping them when they create a new mental construct to overcome a problem. Take addiction, for example, just because they use Jesus as a focus point to build self-control. This occurs often among Christian apologists who attack atheists or even more liberal Christians for doing the exact same thing that they are doing, such as dishonesty, taking out of context, blind faith, straw-manning, and biased studies, and they cannot see that they are doing the very same things themselves while their opponent is using none of these. Mimetically, this turns out to be very useful because from a debate standpoint, if you can make the accusation first, then that immediately puts them on the defensive, and when they try and tell you that you're doing these things, it will look like you're just trying to shift the blame to an uninformed and biased crowd. Politicians will use these arguments, especially the Republican Party and Fox News, considering they were the ones who doubled the debt with every presidency and then accused Democrats of raising the debt to get us out of the problems they caused and balance the budget. The gay scandals are another example of this blind hypocrisy. It's amazing how fast many people who shouted "drill baby drill" suddenly completely swapped positions and made claims that they were always against drilling when the oil spill occurred. Many of them, I'm sure, completely rewrote their own history and their memories because of their cognitive dissonance that this massive spill caused, and they completely believed that they were always against offshore drilling, even though we have video evidence of it otherwise. Projection is when you assume your own flaws and intentions onto other people. It has been found that liars assume everyone else is lying, and the honest people assume people around them are honest. You go with what you know. Solipsism is when you assume that everyone thinks the same way you do, which I find it funny that it is considered one of the Levian satanic deadly sins. This is why it took forever for John Locke to emerge and say, "Hey, maybe we don't all think alike." This naturalistic study for the understanding of issues like cognitive dissonance is why it is difficult for many scientists like myself to support the concept of free will as an innate property of the brain. If we are just reacting to things based on prior conditioning, then where is the free will in that? Some of us happen to have the right experiences to realize that we could self-reflect and alter our conditioning. So some of us change to better ourselves, and many do not, and will just continue to react the way they were conditioned by experience. This is the concept of the id, ego, and superego. The id just reacts based on its prior conditioning. The ego takes a combo of experiences, emotions, and concepts and picks the best one based on which one weighs up more. I would say that no one chooses to do bad things. When they weigh the options at hand, they are making the best choice they know at the time, even if it's a horrible idea, many times through rationalizing. Emotions play a huge part in this type of situation, as they can seriously twist your perspective of reality and make you certain that what you are doing is the right thing. It is these people that rely on religion so heavily, and for whom religion was made. However, the superego requires the time to learn, self-reflection, as well as problem-solving to change your own conditioned response to how the id and ego react. Perhaps free will is not inherent to all people, but it is something to strive for by obtaining the experience and memories needed to have a fully functioning superego. The theory of emergence has many layers, where the parts are just parts, and when the parts are put together in a particular arrangement, the whole becomes much more than the sum of the parts. In nature, every process of the human brain is used through divergent evolution in other animals, but what makes us special is the blend, combination, and compilation of all these parts that make us more in a sense than any animal. It is perhaps true that until the superego is attained, people really do have no free will, and if they never achieve it, then they can be a danger to themselves and society, because they are at the mercy of their conditioning and experiences and have not attained the ability to think beyond these things and to self-reflect when cognitive dissonance occurs instead of rationalizing it, and to problem solve, to design ways to change your own conditioning, and to desire to learn as a virtue and how to explore ourselves and the planet around us. We did not have free will to get the right experiences. We did not have the free will to genetically get the brain we did. We did not have the free will to have the emotions we have. Some of us got lucky, some of us did not. However, I think, instead of assuming that everyone has free will, we should have the right and the responsibility to attempt free will, and we should all be given the tools to do so. Just like how enlightenment is viewed in Buddhism. It is something potentially inherent in all of us, but if we don't give ourselves time for self-reflection, unbiased honesty about ourselves, and the understanding of ourselves to create new mental constructs, we will never achieve enlightenment or free will.